Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jackie and this is Jackie is Making, a place where I talk all about the knit garments, accessories, and sometimes sewing projects that I have going on. Today I'm going to be going through two of my most recent finished objects, or two accessories that are really fun. And then I have two more sweater whips on the needles that I'm just kind of like racing to get through. One is something for my husband that he keeps begging to have complete for this winter season. And another is a cardigan that I would just love to have finished for Thanksgiving, because you'll see it's just like the perfect color to wear to Thanksgiving dinner. And then lastly, I have a fun swatch. I'm kind of just needing like a palette cleanser, something nice, that like good woolly gauge in the round. So you'll see what that's going to be. But I quick swatched for that this afternoon, and I'm excited to show you what that is going to be. Before we get started today, I did want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Flexispot. And right now I am sitting in their swivel recliner rocker Lotus chair. And this is something that they had gifted to me a couple of months ago. And so this is a really fun collaboration for me because I'm able to talk with you all about it again. And the last time I talked with you, it was a little bit more of a first impression. I had just received the chair and now it's been in my living room and I've been using it for the past 2 months. So I can genuinely say that I love this chair and it has become a very much like a part of my normal routine. And so what I love about this is I feel like it really lives up to that Lotus name, in that it's just a very like peaceful and serene looking chair in my living room. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of want to go sit in it. And so in the mornings, I love to come over here, have my coffee in it, kind of lean back. This chair so nicely reclines. I can put my feet up, just kind of like get some peace in the morning before I start my day. Sometimes I'll have my knitting with me. There's also a really nice pocket on the side of this chair that kind of opens up, and you can easily put in a remote or your knitting project, a book, anything like that. And so, yeah, I like to have my coffee. Sometimes I'll even bring out my laptop. What's nice about this chair is it props you up pretty well. So it's really easy to work on a project and just kind of be working on something. It's not like you're way leaning back. So you can really easily sit up in it, but still be really comfortable, or you can recline it back and just really easily like zen out and watch TV. So that's primarily how I use it. I also like to come over here in the evenings. Yeah, just kind of relax. I'll fully kind of make it recline out if I'm going to be in here in the evenings and just kind of having my knitting project. But this chair has absolutely become a staple in my routine, so I'm so excited to recommend it to you all, and I think it would be beautiful in your space as well. I know they have a lot of wonderful Black Friday deals coming up, so I'll leave some links down below, one in the description box and also in the comments, so if you're interested, be sure to check those out. Thank you again to Flexispot for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so to dive into a couple of my most recent finished objects, what I am wearing is something brand new, and this is the Traveler Cowl by Andrea Mowry. And I finished this in just about 1 month, and I knit this out of 2.5 skeins of Spin Cycle yarn. This is their dyed in the wool yarn. This is a sport weight, and it's a 100% superwash merino wool. And like I mentioned, I did about 2.5 skeins. And so what I have left over is just this little amount right here. It looks like, I believe this is about half of the skein. It might even be a little bit, I used a little bit more than half. And so I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up doing with this little bit of leftover, but I was very pleased with the amount that I used. I was worried at first that I was only really going to use 2 skeins and I was going to have a ton left over of the third, but I'm pretty happy with the amount that I used. This is in the Something Wicked by Wololo colorway. And I think I saw on a social post that Spin Cycle had maybe made like a happy accident, like a little bit of one colorway was maybe left on and they ended up mixing it and they're like, whoa, that looks kind of cool. And they ended up releasing it for Halloween, I think just because it has some of those like darker, moodier colors mixed in with, of course, like the beautiful orangey autumn colorways in there as well. And I was really surprised when I got these skeins because online, this is like definitely been a theme of mine lately. the way that color looks on screens can sometimes be so different than the way that color looks online. I'm sorry, it looks in person. And this has been happening in my life because I have been editing videos in Premiere Pro. And what happens is when you import a video, like an iPhone video or from my camera, when you export it, the colors look so vastly different because it's almost like they don't speak to each other. Like they're different color languages. And depending on what your screen's looking like, and how you're shooting it, and then how it's exporting. I mean, you guys, the way that this has just been blowing my mind lately has just been so hard. And, it's always been a lesson as a graphic designer just because you can view your colors in different color profiles. It's important to use a high quality screen, yada, yada. But so anyways, this has just been like a theme of my life lately, but it also really happened with this cowl because online, I felt like this color looked very brown. It had my favorite colors, which were like brown, teals, and oranges. And those were really the colors that I wanted to get out of these skeins. And while there is some of those in there, I feel like the browns read very purple because of what they're next to. And it's very much so a more like purpley reddy brown. And then there's also some like dark greens. There's definitely a lot of gray in here, which I wouldn't have picked up normally. And yeah, more of like an aqua-y teal instead of more of like a green teal, if that makes sense, like a dark. And so yeah, that's just kind of a lesson for me in ordering probably Spin Cycle online. I love the way this turned out and this is so cool, but it's not something I would have been like, oh my gosh, I need to have because those are Jackie colors, which is the reaction that I had online, right? Like that's the reaction I had online. That's why I purchased it. It was kind of like an impulse purchase. But I think had I have seen these in person, I would have thought it was beautiful, but I wouldn't have had such a strong, that's a Jackie color, I need to have it immediately sort of reaction. So yeah, that's all to say is just like my recommendation to you if you're going to purchase Spin Cycle or any sort of color changing yarn. Like it's definitely best if you can to see these colors in person because sometimes they end up being quite different. The way that this cowl is constructed, I talked about last week on my podcast episode, just going through like my process of trying to learn this pattern and sort of memorizing it so I didn't have to look at it. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out. So yeah, that kind of walks you through all of my process and everything when I was learning this. So once I got through with that last week, all I had to do was just finish out my decreases. And then to cast this one off, it was just a really easy I-cord bind off, which I always forget. I love that when it's a little bit of a shorter distance. It's just like a really enjoyable and beautiful bind off. If you ever have to do it for like a really long sweater, it can sometimes feel a little bit more tedious, but for something like this, it was super enjoyable. And I also love like totally weaving in my ends on something with an I-cord bind off because you can really easily just kind of stick it up through there, pull it through, and it's so easy to hide your ends, which makes it so beautiful on both sides, which is always so nice. And then the only other unique thing that I do with these cowls that I once saw someone do is I just seam it up through the first half. Recommended will be to seam the entire back, but I like to do just the top portion, and that's so I can really get it to lay flat and lay nice in this handkerchief style that I really like. I also will say this is my first time using Spin Cycle yarn, and I was pleasantly surprised with the overall feel of it. It's a really, really nice texture. It's definitely really soft. It's super wash yarn, but it feels still like a nice texture. It's not too soft, and I really like the way that it feels, so much so that I'm excited that I have a couple more skeins and I'm excited to use it again. If you are interested in making this cowl, I think it's a really fun project. This pattern is unique because it's made for like any sort of gauge, and so you can use a whole variety of different yarns, and Andrea really nicely describes in the pattern like how to adjust it based on what sort of gauge that you have. I will say for this, like for a winter sort of cowl, I would maybe recommend going up, and like I would have probably rather have had this in at least a DK just to be a little bit warmer. It's super comfortable and something that's maybe a little bit better for like fall, spring versus like a true warm winter sort of thing. Like this feels more like something that's like cute and nice accessory, adds a little bit of warmth, but not a ton. So yeah, that's just something to know. If you're wanting something that's more of like an outerwear, gonna keep you warm, I would definitely knit it out of something a little bit thicker, maybe add some fluff, that sort of thing. But I do recommend it. It's a very fun pattern. And also just note, this is very big. I made the largest size. A lot of people will make the smaller size. There's like an adult small and then an adult large. So the adult small will definitely sit up a little bit higher, but that would be more like a true cowl, like if you're needing just something to cover your neck in your coat, or, you know, also a super cute accessory. But I really liked the length of my shift cowl that I had. So that's why I ended up making this size. But what's funny, like because this was superwash yarn, because it's garter, it did end up growing a little bit more. So it's fairly large, but I like that it's like that because it almost feels like this is like the outfit, you know, and it feels like I can wear something plain underneath it. And it's still like, it's a really cute outfit to have this on. So yeah, that is the Traveler Cowl by Andrea Mowry. My next finished object I have for you is the Manhattan Hat by Tori Yu. And this was just like a quick travel project that I had cast on. And I made this out of Utopia's new line of folk yarn. This is 100%, I think it's Rambouillet Target yarn, made out of some cute Wisconsin sheep. And just it's dyed in this beautiful tapestry colorway that is so colorful. So I'll put this on for you and I'll just tell you a little bit more about my knitting experience with it. So it was super easy in the beginning. Like it's just a 1x1 rib hat. I absolutely recommend this for any sort of travel. It's so nice to just easily get in the round, fits perfectly on my circular, and it's just like, yeah, it's a nice, engaging sort of project for travel. So I really loved that aspect of it. And yeah, it was so seamless until I got to the decreases and I was just so confused. I ended up knitting these decreases 3 different times. And the reason is I complain about this all the time. I'm so sorry. I knit left-handed. So I knit left to right. And what happens is a lot of times in patterns, I have to flip things, right? So like every time you do a make one left, I'm doing a make one right. Anytime a pattern says knit 2 together, I need to slip knit. And so what I've done is I've actually taught myself when it says make one left, I've actually taught myself the way of operations, like the way that you do it. I'm doing the other way, but I've just taught myself that's how I do it. But for knit 2 togethers and slip knit, I can't really do that because knit 2 together just so in my head, it's like knitting 2 together, you know, slip knit. You're literally slip knitting. So I can't really teach myself the opposite. It would be too hard at this point. So I always need to remember to flip them. And what was unique about this pattern is you can either do the decreases knit on the inside of the hat or on the outside of the hat. And I was very confused because at this point, the inside and the outside of the hat look the same, right? It's 1x1 rib. Arguably though, on the inside of your 1x1 rib, it might look a little bit neater, like your knit stitches might look a little bit neater. And so I was like, okay, I kind of want that to be on the outside when I flip it up. And I was just confused. She says that you can either knit them on the inside of the outside, but she doesn't say whether these decreases you're knitting, if you're going to want to see them or if you're going to want to see them, like if you're going to want to see them as you're knitting them, or if they're going to be flipped out and they're going to be on the other side. Like the math wasn't mathing to me. It wasn't clocking. I was so confused. And I think it was literally just like a language thing. Like the way that it was written wasn't really computing to me until I was knitting it and seeing it and realizing my error. And like I was mentioning with the left-handed thing, I was accidentally going the wrong way. And so, yeah, it was just like one of those. I was probably just too tired knitting. And it's like, I know I'm smarter than that, but I was just messing it up. Anyways, figured it out, got it figured out. And it's really cute. I like the way these decreases look. I love the way it stands up. It looks really, I don't know, it just looks so cute. These colors look a little bit more rainbow than what I was hoping for. I was hoping it was like in person, they are just such deep, gorgeous, rich colors. And so I wish that it didn't feel as rainbow-y to me, but I really love the colorways. I love the way it's striped up. I think it looks so cool. It's definitely a pattern that I will be making again because I like the way that it was constructed and knit. It was super fun. Now I have it figured out. I need to remember to take good notes for myself in my Ravelry so I don't do that again. Please, Jackie, do that for yourself. So yeah, that's something that I need to do. And then my one last note on this is like, it's not super warm. I wish I would have done the double fold just for it being winter. If I haven't mentioned yet, I don't think I have. It snowed already here. It's 30 degrees outside right now, snowing. And so like I've been on a walk yesterday with my husband to walk my dog, and there was so much air blowing through this hat. And it was just a reminder of like, I need to be cognizant of like the hats that I'm making. If I actually want to wear them in the winter, I need to either do a double fold. Maybe I should attempt like sewing in a fleece lining, or it can just be something where like, this is a hat I wear just like to be cute. It could be a fall spring hat wearing inside. I sometimes like to wear beanies inside just like as a part of the outfit. But yeah, it's just to be mindful of if I really need something to like keep out that crazy Wisconsin wind, maybe it need to be something that's just like super hardy wool with maybe a mohair with like that double fold. Like, yeah, just like pulling out all the stops. I do think the warmest hats that I've made so far have been an Oslo hat and a Musselburgh hat, just because it's like a tighter gauge and it has those nice folds. I feel like for me, stockinette is definitely the warmest hats that I have. It feels like if I'm doing a ribbed hat or if I'm doing a cabled hat, I can just feel the wind blowing through those holes. I don't know if you guys are the same. I'm like, is this just a me problem? Because everyone else seems to make these hats and be fine. Yeah, let me know what you think. But that is the Manhattan hat by Tori Yu. Okay, now going into something fun. Let's talk about that swatch quick before we get into those two whips. So the swatch that I made was actually for a Monday sweater. And I just see posts about Monday sweaters everywhere. There's someone on YouTube I watch. I love her channel. I'll put up a picture or link it below. She's made quite a few Monday sweaters. My friend Courtney has also made one for her husband that she wears all the time, and she wants to make another one. And I was kind of going through my stash the other night, and I remembered I have a sweater quantity. This really gorgeous, this is an Alice Starmore yarn. Herbadian is maybe the name of it, and it's in this like beautiful blue colorway. I'll leave some details up on the screen, but it is this like really gorgeous, I would say like, I was going to say royal blue. I don't think that's the word for it. It's just like it leans navy, but it has royal purple in it, which is I think why I'm saying that. It's really, really gorgeous. And I actually think it might be called navy petrol or something. I'll have to leave it on the screen. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous yarn. And so I was in my DK bucket and I was like, wait, I forgot that I have this sweater quantity of this. And I'm kind of needing something that's just like a good palette cleanser, and I feel like this sweater is perfect for that. Like, it's an in the round raglan sweater. It's just gonna be like a staple, especially in a 100% wool. Like, could you get more staple than that? And I want more pieces like that in my wardrobe where it's just like a no effort, it's simple, classic. I love having fun pieces, but I also do really cherish and enjoy having staple classic pieces in my wardrobe. It's definitely like a big part of my style as well. And so yeah, I knit this up. I just did a quick swatch this afternoon. I ended up going down a needle size for the swatch to try it out. The main reason actually is because I can't find my 6 needles anywhere, which is funny because I have 2 sets of 6 interchangeables, and I also have, like, they're both 5 inches, and I also have 4-inch 6 needles somewhere. But when I opened my case today, there was a singular interchangeable 6. Don't know how that happened. A US 6 is a 4mm needle. And who knows where they're flying off to. And so I just didn't have the energy to go looking. And I know they're in a project bag or something somewhere, but I was just like, you know what? I feel like, this pattern is recommended for fingering plus mohair, and it's like a 21 stitch gauge. And so I was like, maybe I might be able, I maybe should go down to a US 5 anyways. Like I could see that happening to me anyways. I tend to be a little bit more of a loose knitter. And I feel like a typical DK gauge that I like is typically a tighter anyways. I was just thinking like maybe more of a US 5. So we'll see. I'm going to block this. I now do my swatches, and I used to do where I would do like garter around the edges and it'd be so beautiful. However, after reading the Patty Lyons book, she recommended don't do that because it can end up changing like how it's going to sit and feel. She said like just do it where it's long enough where even if it curls up, you'll still be able to measure and get in there. So that's what I've done. Right after this podcast, I'm going to eat some dinner and I'm going to go up and block this and know which needles to pack because I'm going to be maybe traveling and using this. So that is the upcoming Monday sweater. Just a really fun, nice palette cleanser after the next two projects that I'm going to be talking with you about. So the first one, let's talk about my husband's sweater. This is the Qanik by Linka Neumann. And I have my projects right now in my Graflance bag. And I love so many of their products are made out of 100% felted wool. So I'll leave this linked in the description box as well. I love to talk about this during the winter months. I feel like it's just like such a fun accessory to have wool products to carry your knitting in. And this has been like a gorgeous travel bag for me. And yeah, it's just so fun to store all of my knits as well. But I got this out to showcase for you all again. This is how I'm knitting the Qanik. This is the book that has it within it. This is Wilderness Knits, again, by Linka Neumann, and just has a ton of wonderful winter projects within it. So just wanted to be sure to show you that again. This isn't a pattern I downloaded on Ravelry, but is something that is in that book. However, I do think it is available if you would like on Ravelry. And just quick to showcase for you all, I am knitting this out of Lopi yarn. This is Alafos Lopi. This is a 100% Icelandic wool. We got that here. And this is a bulky yarn. It's very, very thick. And so I have to be careful about how often I'm knitting with it because it can tend to strain my hands a little bit. But I just wanted to show you this here. So currently I have the body all complete, ready to join in the round for sleeves. And now I just need to finish those other two sleeves before I am like in the round and can start doing those raglans. But this was constructed, bottom up. I first did some ribbing, went into a little bit of a color work chart here. And then ever since, I've just been doing one color here, no increases or decreases, super easy. It's been very, very enjoyable. And then lately, I have been working on a sleeve. So I had told you before, I really wanted to cast on the color work here, put it on hold, and then cast on some more color work. But the color work was annoying enough that I just needed a little bit of stockinette in between, just because I was doing this color work on Magic Loop and it was kind of tight. Like it's hard with this yarn. And so, I've completed, let's see, my little cuff here. We have another color work chart, very similar to the body. And then I've just went into the rest of the sleeve here. And this has just been so fun to kind of carry around. So you can see, I'm getting pretty far up here, almost complete with my increases. And then I'm going to measure it, make sure I've got into the right measurement. And then, I'm going to put this on hold, get ready to do my other one. And then once those are complete, I will join them all in the round. So if you've never knit something bottom up, it's interesting because you kind of like lay all your pieces out. So you'll have your main center, and then it's almost like once you get to the armhole, you're just going to basically slip these all on and knit these all on at the same time. And you're basically getting them all on the same needle, and then you're, joining in the round. So it's a really fun process. It kind of breaks your brain to understand it at first, but once you're doing it, you're like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. So here's my little sleeve here. We're cooking along on this. The texture I'm loving. It feels just like a jacket feel, like definitely that bulky yarn. It feels so substantial and nice, and I can tell why this is called a jacket because it's just how it feels. It feels like it's going to be so insulating and so warm. So I'm very excited about this project. Okay, and then lastly, what I have for you is my Cognac cardigan, and I'm knitting this out of some fun yarn. This is knit out of a hand-dyed superwash merino yarn in this gorgeous cranberry colorway. This is why I've been saying this is my Thanksgiving sweater, because it just looks like cranberry sauce, which I love. I love making cranberry sauce. Sometimes after I make it for Thanksgiving, I like remember how much I love it, and I'll make it. And like, I remember a couple years ago, I had made it and then I would add it into like my oatmeal and different meals that I was making, and it was so delicious. If you have any left over, definitely remember that tip to like put it on oatmeal. Or I was making sourdough bread at the time. I would make sourdough, I would toast it, put a layer of cottage cheese on top. It has to be whole milk cottage cheese, or at least 2%. I hate low fat cottage cheese. Whole milk cottage cheese, and then do a little bit of cranberry sauce on top. Yum. Such a good breakfast. Anyways, I did want to tell you as well, I love the cranberry sauce that has like the orange in it, the orange zest. I think I make the Ina Garden Barefoot Contessa recipe. It's my favorite. Let me know, are you a canned cranberry girl, or do you like making it with the whole cranberries and orange? Because that's my favorite. So this is, the superwash merino. And then I also have, this is also hand dyed, and this is a really unique yarn. It's called Cloud. And it is like a merino, yak, surrey, and silk. So it's really a whole bunch of things in here. And I showed you this last week as well. And I'm still just, in the round, working back and forth. But I love working on this after I've been working on that other sweater, because that other sweater, it just feels like a little bit more bulky in my hands, and it doesn't hurt my hands, but I just feel it more. And then when I start working on this, man, is it soft. Cloud is just the perfect word for it. It feels so soft. It glides against my needles, and it's one, like, you love a yarn when even just knitting flat is still just so comfortable and wonderful. So here is what I have so far. You can kind of see, I feel like it's a little bit easier to even see it from the back to see how much progress I have here. So this is what we got. We're, like I mentioned last time, split for sleeves. This is a continuous set in sleeve. It's really beautiful. And I'm working back and forth, and eventually I'm going to hit my ribbing, probably in a couple inches here, and hit my ribbing. I was thinking maybe I'll do the recommended, what's it called? Twisted rib. But I'm not a huge twisted rib fan, so I might just do a regular rib. We'll see how I'm feeling. And then there's also a very large recommendation for button size. So I need to look at the projects on Ravelry and see what people are using for buttons. But there is one from Etsy. I think it's Pigeon Wishes, the shop, and that's pretty popular. And I'm really loving one of their colorways of buttons. So maybe I'll put a couple on the screen and let me know if you think that they would look good as well, or what you would recommend for this sweater. But that is this one that we have here. I'm loving working on this. It's just so squishy. I want a pillow made out of this. It's so gorgeous. So that is everything that I have been working on this week. It's been a busy week with a couple of finished objects and more things that I'm really kind of working on finishing. Like I mentioned, it's cold here in Wisconsin. I'm still working on getting through Gilmore Girls. And so, that's just been like fun to have those cozy nights. I'm really loving this cinnamon decaf tea that I have. And it's just been like really nice to kind of hunker down and make in the evenings. And like darkness can be really hard for me the once we switch over to the winter months. And so just being like mindful of that and taking time to slow down and just be like, practice gratitude and enjoy. Like, I'm just so grateful to have knitting during these months, because I think it just makes this cozy time feel like just so enjoyable. And so I hope that you all are enjoying it as well. Please let me know what you are working on while you're watching today's podcast episode. And other than that, I think I'll be back even again next week with another video for all of you. I hope that you all have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
So let's see.